Hi, my name's Sarah, or hi, I'm Sarah Silcox, and I'm drinking whatever it is you're drinking. So
Okay.
that's how we'll start, and we'll
Okay.
go from there.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready. Take it
Okay,
away.
sounds good. Hi, I'm Sarah Silcox. Today I'm drinking a lemon ginger tea, which isn't my go-to all the time, but I feel like I already had coffee this morning, and I was like, I don't need to over-caffeinate.
Is tea your go-to, even though lemon ginger might not
I
be
feel
the
like
go-to
I do
flavor?
love a tea in the afternoon, and
Okay.
I've always wanted to be like a tea person.
Sure.
Like I feel like I'm definitely a coffee person, but I feel like when I don't know, in the afternoon or I don't know, when I've had too much caffeine, I'm like,
Sure.
okay, I'm gonna switch to tea, and it's just like very calming. I also love a tea like at night as I'm winding down for
Okay.
the day, like a nice chamomile tea or
I like it.
like lavender tea.
I'm a coffee guy. Everybody knows I grew up drinking just black drip coffee from the diner, so
Okay.
not very strong.
Okay.
But I continue to go that direction. Tea has been a hurdle, and I feel like I can't clear the hurdle.
Okay.
What is it about tea that attracted you first?
I just
what?
love I think growing up I loved English culture.
Okay.
I loved watching British shows, and I love a British period piece.
Okay.
And so for the longest time I was like, oh, that just, I don't know, there's something quaint about it. So I don't know when I really started drinking tea. I guess maybe college, but
Okay.
coffee was a later thing to me. I feel like I eased in with a mocha in college, and still have never gone to fully black coffee. I just feel like
Gotcha.
I can't get there. So
I feel like you're either all about it or it's like a delicacy
Yes.
for black coffee for people.
Yes.
So what English TV shows were you watching growing up?
oh my gosh. I feel like in high school I was watching all the edgy ones.
Were you like a BBC
I
watcher?
love a BBC drama. I actually named my dog after the not the main protagonist, but a character in the show Poldark. If you've heard
Okay,
of
I've
that.
not.
So my family, I have several aunts that also love the show, and they like to say it's an 1800s Bernie Sanders story. Which
Interesting.
it really isn't, but shout out to my Aunt Charlotte who coined that. But basically it's this guy, and he goes to fight in the Revolutionary War, and he comes back, and the woman that he was engaged to married his cousin, and then he's it's all about he owns this mine that he inherited from his family, a coal mine basically, and he's supporting the people, and I don't know, he's kind of an asshole actually most of the show, but all the other characters are lovely. He ends up marrying this they call her a kitchen wench. I feel at the beginning she's a very poor woman
Okay.
that I can't remember how they even meet, but then he marries her, and she's great. But my dog is named after a character named Jeffrey Charles.
Jeffrey Charles.
So it's a very regal sounding name, but that's just one example. That was that just actually came out on Netflix recently, so if people are interested.
So you've been catching up then?
now
Or
watch it.
not catching up, but rewatching?
I haven't yet, but I have friends that have been
Okay.
texting me about rewatching it. But in high school, I feel was when I first started watching British stuff. And
Okay.
I guess my grandma watched the BBC growing up, so I feel I got touches of it. But Skins was a big one I
Yep,
loved.
yep.
Misfits.
Okay, yeah.
All the edgier British
Sure.
shows.
Yeah.
For teens. I feel there's others that I'm now forgetting, but
Yeah.
then getting older, Dairy Girls is in Ireland, but I love a Dairy Girls moment.
I was going to ask you, was it all British or was it UK in general?
I would say in
Okay.
general. But yeah, I don't know. There's just and when I went to England for the first time, and just there's something about a high tea moment. I don't know. I just
For sure.
And I guess when I was a kid too, I do remember I had a tea party that my mom did. That was one of my birthday parties. That was really fun.
Okay. Fondly remembered?
Yes.
Okay.
It was very cute.
I love it.
So I don't
What's
know.
the difference between an American drama and a UK drama?
Oh, good question. I just feel the UK is so different. But it's hard to explain.
Sure.
I feel they're definitely a little bit edgier. The comedy's just good. I don't know. Well,
Okay.
I actually I don't feel there's a lot of tea in this, but Fleabag is one of my favorite shows.
Oh, okay.
So-
I've only watched a couple episodes,
Okay,
but
from the
I know a
first
lot of
season?
people. Yeah, I know
Okay.
a lot of people that like it.
lot of
Andrew Scott, I
Yes.
believe. He's. I love him as an actor.
Yes, he's great.
Yeah, but I've heard many great things about
Yes,
the show.
season 2 is so different from season 1. A lot of people start season 1, they're I'm not feeling this, and
Okay.
it's a little bit it's kind of aggressive in your face. But I would say season 2 just as it's 6 episodes. Like I've rewatched that like a dozen times. Like,
Okay.
I love it.
What's the difference? What's the shift
Like,
from 1
well,
to 2?
the character's going on this like whole journey. So the first season, she's like really struggling, and she's
Okay.
like in it, and you're like, oh man, this is like hard to watch. And then season 2, I would say, is like, okay, she's like coming around. She like meets this priest, Andrew
Sure.
Scott, and like develops this like friendship and then relationship that's like, I don't know, it's just very funny. It's very different. I don't
Yeah.
know, it's just like very different from the first season. So
Okay.
I've only seen the first season maybe like twice through, and then like the second season I watched. It's just like as a contained story is
Sure.
like really good.
So I think so. It must be from the second season. Then I see a particular clip from the show go around a lot where Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character is breaking the fourth wall,
Yes,
and he's
yes.
catching her.
Yes.
Like, what are you doing?
So good.
I don't know why that particular moment in the show has like taken such hold and been like that's like the viral moment. Can you walk me through that? Like,
Oh my
why
God.
is that? Obviously, with
Yeah.
lots of context missing, like why is that such an important moment, or like it's such an impactful moment for
Right.
people?
Well, I feel like definitely watching the show will give you the added context that you need. But as just like coming in with a bird's eye view, I feel like the context is like, so Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character, Fleabag, like first season, like really struggling, like
Yeah.
her best friend ends up dying, and you find out some things like around the context of that, and like she feels really guilty. She's like struggling with all this stuff. And then the second season, she meets this priest, Andrew Scott, who like basically through the first season and the second season, like she's constantly like talking to the camera, and that's like
Right.
her kind of coping with her what she's going through. And then like he's like the first person in her life that like sees her doing that, or like is seeing her like for who she really is. So there's a great scene in the first episode of the second season is great too, because there's like this whole dinner scene, like Olivia Colman's in it. The acting is so good in the show. But they're like at dinner, and like it's just like very dramatic, and Andrew Scott like sees her at the beginning. He's like, oh well, like tell me about you. Like she's like in the, I don't know. It's really good. So as someone who also just like asks a lot of questions and like doesn't feel like people ask me a lot of questions sometimes, I feel like it like really resonated. I don't know.
Okay,
that
for
makes
sure.
sense, yeah.
No, it makes total sense. I mean,
good.
I think everybody has a level of desire to be seen, like truly seen in that way, which I think is what that scene is reflecting. It's like,
Yes.
I'm seeing you, not just like what maybe people perceive
Yes,
of you.
no, totally. And there's like a couple moments that like kind of tease up to that, but that scene that you're referencing,
Okay.
is like I feel like kind of middle of the second season where like it's like, oh, like this is going somewhere. I don't know.
Okay, this is going somewhere. When's the last time you felt seen?
Oh my god. We're getting into it. I don't know. I feel like I've always had a pretty good relationship with my family. Like
Sure.
I feel like they've always been like so supportive and like see me for who I am, and like have always been there for me. So like especially like I would say my best friend is my sister. So
Okay,
I
I
would
like
say
it.
that she always sees me for who I am and like is able to like read me pretty
Nice.
well. And then certain friends along the way that I've made, but
Totally. So, from your perspective, then, who is Sarah Silcox?
oh my gosh, what a question. I don't know. I'm figuring it out as I go along. I feel like
I'm
when
doing the
was-
same. I
when
feel
you
you.
asked me to be on this, I was like racking my brain. I was like, oh, like what are all the things on my brain right now that I would want to talk about? And I feel like identity is one that's really interesting. That
Okay,
I
for
think
sure.
about a lot the last few years. As a creative, so I've always been pretty creative. Like I would say that's like an attribute that's a through line through my life.
Okay.
Of just like always loved art class, always loved like bringing people together and community building and like connecting those things. Like
Sure.
even in high school, I feel like I did this like project where I like had this notebook that like traveled around the school and everybody could like write whatever they wanted. in it.
Okay.
Like I've always
Brave.
loved like collaborative
Brave.
art stuff. So I feel like that, whatever that means, is a through line in my life. But in my career journey, I feel like I've always had like jobs that kind of consume my life. Like
Sure.
they're quote unquote fun jobs, but they're like very, it's entertainment industry. It's like, oh, like it's fun, but it's like, oh my
Sure.
God, they'll suck your soul out if you give them everything that you can,
Yeah.
So I feel like every job I've had, or like working for, small startups or small businesses and stuff, or, just
Yeah.
like jobs that are in events too, or just like, they just take a lot. So I feel like I was getting to the point in my career where I was like, okay, like I feel like my job keeps like consuming my identity and like
Sure.
I want a life outside of this. So I feel like in the last like year and a half is when I decided like, okay, like I'd always wanted to work for myself. I'm just going to like
I'm just going to do it.
I don't know if I can swear on this.
You can say whatever you want, as long as it's not racist or bigoted.
Okay, I don't plan to do that. But I've always been like a pretty like kind of not necessarily by the book person, but like I like am an overthinker. So like doing this was like, okay, this is like very impulsive for me.
Sure. Well,
and like the irony is that like I feel like in the last year and a half, like I've become like, now that I'm working for myself and like my job is part of my identity because I've started this small business. Trying to disentangle those things is a challenge, but I do feel like at least it's like I'm in control and it's like I'm working on this thing that I'm building and it's not like somebody else. But like when asking like who am I, it's like I don't know.
It's an ongoing thing.
I'm like I don't know. I always want to be changing. I always want to be growing. I feel like curiosity is a through line in my life too, of like just like exploring what is exciting to me at the time. I don't know, but also like something I'm working on for next year is like more focus, because I feel like my brain is just like I'm interested in so many things.
Sure.
It's like how do you balance like that? I want to do all these things, but also like I need to like zero in and focus on some things that like I don't know. I just the balance of like being interested in everything and then also like be not necessarily becoming an expert, but like focusing in on a few things.
Yeah. Being like, I'm going to devote or invest my time in this maybe one or two things as opposed to 20 things. I resonate a lot. I'm working with my business coach right now on the narrowing down.
I need one so bad.
So this podcast right here is actually my resistance to the narrowing down, but I had to be able to explain to him how it would not get in the way of the other things that I was doing that I need to do to take care of my family, to be able to live, to be able to do this other thing. I think we live in a time right now where it's easy to do that, but also like it's very like surface level, where you're going and you're like engaging with a thing and then you leave, like, and then that's the last time you engaged with something. I feel like I've never really been like, I want to jump and run. Like, I go and do a thing, I give it 150%, I'm spent, and I probably didn't accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. But I'm like, okay, I did the thing, and now I can maybe do another thing or whatever. What is like, how does that like work for you?
No, I can definitely relate to that. I feel like especially now, like working for myself, I have that freedom to like do whatever, which can be like really overwhelming and daunting, but then also like really fun because you can just like try stuff. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know. I feel like lately, like this year especially, like, so I started my own business about a year and a half ago. Knowing I wanted to do this thing called Connection Club that I'm doing, which is like hosting events that bring people together. It's all community focused, like tying in my love of like art and craft things. But then that is just an interesting business model. Like it's hard to make that like your full-time thing. So I have been doing a lot of marketing consulting as well. Because that's like I had like 10 plus years experience doing that, and obviously wanted to keep those skills fresh and I don't know, just like have the skill set. So I've been doing that, and then I also started doing like making products this year. So like I have a part-time job in retail, and like notice like I don't know, I've always been like interested in that stuff too. So I'm like doing like these are kind of the 3 bucket pillars of my business, but then it's like I feel like trying to figure out how much time to spend in each is really challenging. Like the time of year, really, it's just like ups and downs, like in terms of like when people are wanting to go to events, when like the product time is heavy, or like art markets and things like that. When like, you know, client stuff is really picked up. So I'm like, that's what I feel like I'm struggling with the most now. But it is fun because I feel like over the summer was when I started getting into like the products, mostly like making stickers and things. And I got into like this, I was like feeling super creative, like into the flow state that I hadn't felt in like years. But it's also like exhausting because it was like, oh my God, I'm like every waking moment I'm thinking about like other ideas and like working all the time to like build this stuff. And it was just like I love, like it's like so fun to get into that state, but I'm also like, this is not sustainable. Like I like if my brain operated this speed all the time, like I would be just like wiped out. Like it's just too much. So I don't really have any tips and tricks on that. Like I feel like that's something I'm working on. It's like, how do I kind of figure out the different things that I should be working on? Like what do I enjoy versus like what's bringing me enough income? It's like, you know, all these different factors that you're juggling, plus like how do I have a life outside of all these things that like are just the part that are like, you know, that I enjoy and are making me money, but like I'm also like I want to be a full human being outside of like my work life.
Totally.
You know, that's something I think about a lot.
So what does an ideal version of that look like then?
Definitely working on it. I mean, the Connection Club stuff, like I really love, but it's also like I know working in events I've done events work now for like over 10 years, and events are exhausting and also kind of like a thankless job.
Sure.
These are fun because it's like very small scale, and it's like I'm doing everything, and it's like I think this event idea sounds fun. I'm gonna do it, and like it's fine. Versus like when I worked in like bigger events for companies, it's like, you know, you spend all this time, you spend like months and months and months planning an event, and then it's like over, and either no one noticed or cared because it went smoothly and it's great, or like shit hit the fan and everyone's pissed off and like they get mad
then
at
they know who you are.
So it's like, I don't know, I just like hated that part of events of like, I just felt like there was never any celebration of like, oh, we did this cool new thing. So trying to figure out the balance of like, how often to host events, how to like still bring those like community connections together while also like not always only doing events, but like how to take that in other areas. And then I don't know, I'm really intrigued by the product stuff. I feel like I haven't gotten a lot into it yet, but like the idea of having like wholesale products and like, you know, reliable income there.
Well, that's
really
like crafting and making.
Yeah, it's like making things that I don't know. I just feel like that's also something that like when I was a kid, I like used to make cards and like I made these like little sheets in high school for my friends. They would like give me all these things that they're interested in, and I'd like hand draw all these things. Like I feel like that's also something I've always been interested in. So those are really interesting. The marketing consulting, like, I wouldn't say it's like my favorite thing in the world, but it's like, I don't know, I've learned a lot and I have a lot of skills, and like I actually do have really great clients that I like. Most of the clients I work with are like, okay, like I love the work that you're doing. Like we're supporting the hearts, we're doing like really cool stuff. So it's like, I don't know, I feel like I've been very grateful there. It's just like, I probably need to be focusing more on getting more clients, and it's just like
once you get 10 years in the bag, like you might as well. It's like I know I can do this.
Yes.
And one of my friends told me, because for a long time I felt like my career, my main 9-to-5 job, had to also fulfill my whole purpose.
Yes. Well, I feel like as millennial, I think you're a millennial too. I feel like millennials like were very much like inundated with that kind of messaging growing up, which is detrimental.
100%.
It's too much.
Well, and then I've been doing the podcast and like conversation piece, and he was like, "Well, you have this thing now that you've done and built that fulfills you, I think, in a lot of ways that I think you've been looking for your job." He's like, "So does your job really need to do that?" And that was the first time I'd ever had anybody say, your job doesn't have to be your life.
Yes. Yeah.
And I've been somebody who's worked many jobs. I dropped out of college and just worked in basically every industry you could possibly imagine.
Interesting.
And I never did feel like that had to be the thing, but because I never felt like I finished anything that I started, I'd never had a thing to begin with. So when Emily and I moved back to Indy from Chicago and I was looking for a career, I was looking for that thing that I could then maybe develop into and say that was a thing that I was passionate about and fulfilled my purpose. And the unfortunate thing, well, I don't know if it's unfortunate, maybe fortunate, but the thing that happened was I had the opportunity to just express creatively in the way that I wanted to. And that eventually became the purpose-fulfilling thing. Do you feel like Connection Club serves as a purpose fulfiller? And two, I'm interested in, do you like the whole of it, like the whole process of the event thing? Or do you really like the designing of it and the planning of it? Do you really like the making of it? Do you really like the execution of it? Is there a hierarchy in those things for you, or what is that? How does that look like?
Great question. I feel like
because I like doing this part,
yes.
but I don't necessarily like doing the editing part.
Yes. Yeah, well, there's so much admin I'm sure you have to do too, with like booking the guests and like planning out the calendar.
Yeah. There's definitely I mean, I love the whole process, but there's definitely a hierarchy of things that I like. From least to most.
No, I totally get that. I feel like for me, the part of events that I really love, like when I feel like really locked in and like really like in that event flow state we were talking, or just like flow state, is like coming up with the ideation of the event and like the partners and like all the little things they're gonna make it special. And then I feel like the part that I don't love is like, I mean, ironically the marketing, because that is what I've done for a long time. Just like that, like, you know, making sure people are there, and I don't know, it's just like it's just a lot of work. Now that I like do marketing for clients, but it's like, you know, the last priority on my list, or not really the last priority, but like becomes, you know, the last thing I do is like marketing my own events. It's like, okay, I gotta at least get it out there on social and my email list, and then it's like, you know, making sure that people show up is, you know, hard. And just like the ups and downs of like, is anyone going to show up to this thing? Oh my God. Just I feel like it's like very much constantly like trying not to let it consume my life, and also like, you know, not putting my whole entire self-worth into like how many people come to my stuff. So no tips there, because it's just that's always stressful.
I was going to ask, do you have coping things that you do while you're waiting for people to show up? Because mine is generally paced by the door and look manic and awkward.
I've gotten like a little better over the years. Now that I've like done it for a while, it's like it is what it is, you know? I mean, there's some stuff I can do of like, you know, if something's not selling, but like I can check you know, how many views the page has gotten, how many shares. That like gives me an idea of like how popular it will be. But like, for example, at an event this week that like I was super excited about and ended up being way lower attended than I wanted, and it was like just like really sad about it, because I was like, oh, I think this is like super fun. It felt creative, it felt different, and then it just like, and I had like all these people reaching out to me about it, like saying they saw my ads. Like this random girl I like met was like, oh, do you work for a connection club? Like I just saw your ad of you wearing this like Christmas tree hat, and I was like, oh my God, yeah, like it's just funny. And then to like not get too sad, but then it was like, I don't know, I also feel like I changed my framing of like, okay, even though it's not as well attended as I wanted, like I'm gonna make it a kick-ass event for like the people that did show up and came to the event. So I feel like when I started thinking about it in that perspective, it's like you can't win them all. You know, some events like I will cancel if there's like, you know, just a couple tickets in advance, but like, you know, if I hit a certain threshold, like I'm gonna host it, it's gonna be great. I feel like, I don't know if I have any like tips. I do feel like just like the anticipation of like, will people show up? I mean, I even get that way if I'm like hosting just like people over for like a dinner party or like a Halloween party. I'm like, you know, you kind of just like, it's hard to really take yourself out of like, you know, people coming or not, and just like knowing that everyone's incredibly busy. Like I've never been busier in my life, which is like a whole other thing I'm trying to work on, of like the culture of busyness. But it's like people are just busy. It's not personal. It's like people have stuff going on. They have like, you know, it's not like they don't hate you.
That's right. Yeah. You know? I think the thing for me is like, I also am like, when I'm waiting for people and I'm like I'm starting to get in my feels about, oh, they're not going to show up or something. I'm like, wait a second. How many times have I missed a thing? Or how many, like, even messages do I need to respond to still? Like, there's a lot of work and accountability that I need to take. And like, that helps me to, I guess, cope a little bit more easily with the anxiety of nobody coming to an event. But I feel like that's what happens with the things that we love the most, is it feels like the fewest amount of people go to that thing. Right. What is that like? What do you think that is? Especially as somebody who hosts events. Like when you come across, do you find that's like something that happens often with events that you really like? It's just like, I love this thing. Yeah. So like, I love this podcast. Not everybody's listening to this podcast. Right. Where I like, I would love them to all listen to this podcast. Like, what? I forget how I was even framing that question. Like, I think I know what you're saying. I mean, I feel like it's so hard to predict like what will really resonate with people and what won't. Yeah. Like, I feel like some of that, like, I don't know, working in marketing too, and like now doing some social stuff for clients. Like, I feel like I'm like in that stuff a lot. Like, I'm online a lot. Like, I can kind of tell what's trending, like what I think will do well, and like a lot of times I'm right and like that will do well. But then it's like sometimes it's like, if it's like too weird or like too outside of the box, it's like, it's just a toss up. It's like, are people going to come or are they not going to come? I don't know. So I feel like that is hard. I feel like it's similar, and just like, now working in social media marketing too, it's just like, can be a challenge. It's like, you know, I could spend hours on like one project that like I think is gonna do really gangbusters, and then it like totally bombs, and then like something I put together in like 2 seconds does like so well. It's so interesting. It's just like, you just gotta like put stuff out there and like hope for the best, and like not try not to take it too personally when it doesn't. I feel like it's easier said than done. Something I feel like I try to do too is like, I want to be a person that like shows up and like just like lead by my own actions. So like, I really hate, like, I just, like, don't like flakiness, and I feel like we have such a flaky culture. So if, like, I say I'm going to go to something, like, it's very rare for me to not go anymore. Like, I'm, like, trying really hard to be like, I said I would do this thing, I'm going to go. Well, I'm also going to send a message if for some reason I can't, because I got a kid now. I feel like I have a built-in excuse, but I don't want to use my kid as my excuse. But if for some reason I can't make it to something, I feel like I'm obligated to let the person know, even though like 90% of the time they're like, let's obviously
yeah,
fine.
like, yeah.
Like you did not need to message me.
Right. No, I feel that. But it's just, yeah, like trying to like just like lead by example in that way. I feel
For
like
sure.
It's something I've tried to do as a person that works in events. Of
Totally.
Like, I don't know, putting that expectation out
Well,
there
yeah, if I want people to come to my thing, I need to go to other
to
people's stuff.
reciprocate. Yeah.
So you talked about like the culture of business, like, and I think when you mentioned that, I was thinking about how you were talking about all the different things you're involved in, and how I could hear someone being like, "Hey, you could just use chat to help you sort all these things out, and then do that." And I think one of the most difficult things in the last 6 months has been the resistance to use, and also like, is there an ethical way to use AI to help in terms of efficiency? I'm never going to use it from a generative standpoint, but I've been interested in like, is there a way that these tools can operate and help us from an efficiency standpoint? What is your, especially from somebody who's like main thing is events and marketing on the side, where I feel like those particular tools are encroaching very heavily, where I feel like it almost feels like it's harder to not use them than it is to do so.
Right.
How are you, like, what is that? Have you thought about it? Like,
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like, yeah, I've been on a journey with AI this year. It's like,
I've been the same.
I don't know. I feel like when it first came out, I was like intrigued by it. I mean, it's like any new tool.
Yeah.
But I've never been like a power user by any means. Like I feel like I was meeting some people, and it's like changed so much. I feel like in the last 3 months, last 6 months of like, what I found really interesting, like beginning of this year, like maybe it was, I don't even remember, like once it just like felt so pervasive that you couldn't escape it like anywhere. I don't remember when that was timeline wise, but
see, that's how pervasive it is.
It was
just
really,
happened.
yes, it was really interesting though, like being in the consulting world, because it was like every client I have approaches it a totally different way. Nobody's talking about like, this is how we use it at our company. This is how we don't use it. Like this is what we consider ethical. This is not, like, so it was just like this wild west of like, you don't know how people stand on it. Like you don't know how it's being used, how it's not being used.
Yeah.
I think people are becoming more and more savvy now, especially with like the image generation stuff of like, but it also like I hear stuff all the time of like, you know, it's becoming better and better. So we're going to not be able to tell what's AI generated and what's not. So whole nother conversation. But like, I do feel like from the efficiency standpoint, like, I don't know. I feel like we get so granular with like, it's just like so hard to be a human anymore.
Sure.
Of just like, there's so much bad stuff out there that you're like trying to actively be like, I'm not doing this. But I feel like it's also so hard to be like such a hardliner, because it's like, it's just the world that we live in now. So it's like, how do you balance all of those things of like, you know, using AI as a tool when it makes sense, but also like not overusing it, or like being aware of all the like the negative effects that it is having on the environment, and, you know, taking away work from artists, and like just there's just so much there. I feel like I could talk about AI stuff for a long time. I feel like I read a lot of books about it this year too. And I feel like my stance is always changing. Like,
where you stand now?
Like, definitely I try to use it way less. Like I pretty much don't use it a ton anymore. Like I will use it occasionally, like if I need it, if I'm like I'm like kind of spinning out of my brain of like, okay, I have like all this stuff I'm trying to like do, like, can you just kind of brain dumping with it and like helping me organize my thoughts sometimes is helpful. I'll use that occasionally. I was using it sometimes for like event stuff, like kind of helping me like put event descriptions, just like using keywords, stuff like that. That's like, you know, whatever. I feel like, just like stuff that feels a little bit repetitive, I will use occasionally. But like what you were talking about earlier about like efficiency, something that I find really interesting too is like we're in this like just like time where like everything has to be optimized all the time. Like working for like a tech adjacent company in the past of like people who worked in tech, it was like always be optimizing, and it was like it's just like a trap. I feel like it's just like a productivity trap of like every time that like I get my system down and I'm like being really extra productive, it's like it doesn't actually take work away from me. It's like they're just gonna keep giving me more and more work. So it's like, where do we like the threshold of like, okay, like using it as a tool to like make our lives easier, not necessarily like make us do more work on top of it. I don't know if I'm explaining that correctly, but
for sure,
I feel like that's something I think about a lot with AI. It's like, what is the end game here? And also like I feel something I said in my notes too of like, anything in life worth doing takes some effort.
Right.
So I'm like, if it takes all the effort out of everything that we do and like everything is like, frictionless or whatever, it's like,
we
what's
end
the
up
point?
as what's the movie? It's Pixar one with the robot.
Is it the Wall-E?
Yeah, Wall-E.
I've actually
I was
never
like,
seen Wall-E, but I feel
Okay,
like
well,
I
it's
need
like
to
that.
watch it. I hear about it. People talk about it all the time, especially all the stuff that I'm interested in. I'm like, I need to watch that movie.
So essentially what happens is the world becomes automated and everyone's just in chairs and the screens are in front of them and they just that's how they live their lives, and the movie eventually ends with people like reclaiming the ability to just walk, get out of the chair and
so
walk. But it is, so I don't know if you saw, but Sam Altman, he's one of the founders of. So he recently just
my
said,
buddy Sam. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I read a book called Empire of AI this year, and it's all about Sam Altman.
So
I
he
feel
just
like
said recently, I don't know where he was at, but he was being interviewed, and he said he could not imagine raising his newborn without AI.
Okay,
Which I thought was very
did
interesting.
He explain?
Because essentially, I feel like I won't explain it well. Essentially, it was just like what you were just talking about, efficiency, optimization. So, like, when I think about a CEO of a company, I think about you become a CEO and your time, what equals free time or valued time changes. Like, the definition of it changes from being an employee to being at the C-suite level. And I feel like when I heard him say that, I was just like, especially as a newer parent myself, I could not imagine using AI to try and raise my kid.
Right.
Because, like you said, it takes the friction out of it. And I think that from a parent perspective specifically, you have to go through the trial and tribulation of like what your kid likes and doesn't like.
Yeah.
Or you don't build a relationship with your kid. What do you think the trap actually is? What do you think it's obscuring? The trap of optimization. Always be optimizing. I like that. That's a good acronym.
I feel like that was. Do you know Gia Tolentino?
Maybe the name sounds familiar. I'm not
She's
sure.
a New Yorker writer. She's great. She's just like I feel like a really notable like millennial writer.
Okay.
And she has a whole essay. I think it's called like always be optimizing. Maybe. She has a collection of essays that came out a few years ago called Trick Mirror. Definitely worth checking out. I like actually want to reread it because I feel like she talks a lot about stuff that like felt kind of ahead of its time, and now like a couple years later, it's like oh my gosh, she was really onto something. It feels like it. I feel like it all ties to like algorithms and like I don't know. I read another book too about it was called I read a lot of books about tech, which I feel like I've always been interested in that, like new media stuff.
Sure.
Like in college I did media studies and telecommunications. Like I've always been interested in that, and it's just like obviously like, you can't escape it anymore. It's like,
well, I think if we're gonna learn about tech, it should be from a book.
Yes. It's just like it just becomes, and it's like I don't know, whenever I start talking about it, I'm like a total nerd about it, but then I'm like it really does touch like everything in culture anymore. It's
totally.
like the tech companies are all sitting behind Trump at the inauguration, like they're trying to infiltrate every second of our lives all the time.
Palantir.
Yeah,
company.
I need to read more on that. I know a little bit, but it's scary.
Scary, very scary.
It's too much. It's like they just got their like claws and everything. It feels like, and it's all like power grabs and like I don't know. You hear these billionaires interviewed, and it's like, what's the guy? Peter Thiel. It's like doesn't literally want humanity to like exist. It's like what? Like,
he's
these people
terrible.
are freaking psychos. So the more and more you dive into that, it's like it's a lot. But I read a book. I'm trying to remember what it was called. But it's all about algorithms and how they're like flattening culture. Essentially, I could find the title somewhere.
Sure.
And like we're just like letting it. Yeah, we're not making active choices of like what we want to seek out. We're not like pushing the boundaries of like what we know and like want to learn. It's like I don't know. I feel like it. I don't know. It just. That worries me, I feel like, for the future. It's like if we just like succumb to like the powers that be, it's like, they will shape you the way that they want you to
For sure.
be shaped. It's like you gotta like resist a little bit of that and like actively, be more curious, seek out new ideas.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like all the stuff that's going on right now has been exacerbated by like the internet and like algorithms and these big tech companies, like just like taking every ounce of attention that we'll give them. It's like we have to resist that if we want to move forward as humanity? Like, do we want humanity to continue to exist? I feel like we have to be
Yeah.
more aggressive and being like, we can't. It's just like they study all this stuff and they like make it so that we don't even think about it.
Yeah.
It's just like you let it consume you. Like when you log on to Instagram, and it's like 20 minutes go by and you're like, well,
Yeah.
what
The
happened?
scrolling thing is like, I've got to figure that out for myself.
Me too. It's like definitely something I'm working on in 2026. I
Yeah.
feel like it's just, especially now, it just feels like Instagram has become like, I got off TikTok because it was like too addictive and too much. And I feel like Instagram has hijacked the algorithm to be more like TikTok now.
Totally.
And it's just like, I'm sure, at least for me and my experience, it's become way more addictive because
Well-
it's showing, like, it's really interesting stuff. Like, there's so many cool people out there, and like my brain is like so curious. I'm like, oh my God, like this is so cool and so exciting. And it's like, oh, I want to be doing all these things. And it's like, oh my God, like it's just too much. And I just need to like sit with your brain to be like, okay, I need original ideas that are my own. And I can't just like succumb to the internet and telling me all this stuff. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it totally makes sense. And the thing that made me think of is like how I think social media is a great example of how capitalism is bad because like social media originally, there were so many different platforms for different reasons. And then slowly but surely, Vine got taken over, and then TikTok came, and then Instagram did Reels, and then everything like Facebook even is like, well, because they're Meta, like everybody's trying to do the same thing.
Yeah. It's got
and
a
now
Meta
there's like,
steal.
now there is TikTok, there is Instagram. And I don't even know. I still have the Blue Sky app. I saw that they changed their icon,
did
but I
they?
never
Okay.
use it. So I don't know
Nice.
how many people are over there using that. But
Right.
like you said, like flattening culture, like it made me think about how it's limits the options and opportunities available to us to do something different, to think differently. And we just have to sit in the chair and take it.
Well, yeah, and just the algorithms too. It's like, it's just like, especially, I don't know, people who are like make influence, like being an influencer, like their livelihood. It's like, bro, like it is not stable. They're like,
Sure.
the algorithm will change on a whim. You could lose your entire audience tomorrow. It's like, I don't know. That to me is like, you just can't invest too much time in it. It's just like, it's a rat race. It's like, it's never
Sure.
going to stop, and it's always changing. Like, I don't know, just like trying to like bend your values and your content to like the algorithm, and just like in the end is not the way. But I don't know. It's hard out there when you're trying to get your stuff seen, and like, I don't know. It's the world that we live in now. It's like, how do you get the attention? I don't know. Attention is a valuable resource.
It is a valuable resource, finite resource, you called it, which I agree. And something that I have been interested in over the last couple years is how do we take our shortening attention spans and widen them, expand them?
Yeah.
Like, how do we get back to the book reading and out of, again, the 6 second, 15 second, 30 second reads? What does that look like for you? How do we do that?
I think it goes, going back to like AI taking away like any kind of effort, I think it will take conscious effort to do those things. Like you got to retrain your brain to focus. And I feel like I have so many conversations with friends, and I do feel like it's become popular, especially in the last few years, of like everybody thinks that they have ADHD, and like maybe we all do have ADHD now.
I've been even in the mode of self-diagnosis, but like, do I have this?
But it's like, no, duh, you guys. It's like the tech companies are doing that on purpose. It's like they literally keep shrinking the amount of time, like the scrolling, like duh, all of us have ADHD.
Manufactured mental health issue.
Like, it's crazy. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, yes, everybody obviously. Like, obviously some people do like have clinical
100%.
ADHD and have had it since they were a kid. But I do feel like all of us now, it's like, how can you not be pulled in a million directions? You got like Slack messages pinging, emails messages pinging, texts. You're getting. I turn most of my notifications off from apps, but it's like people who get like push notifications. I'm like, no wonder you can't freaking focus for 2 seconds. It's like there's so much stuff coming at you every 2 seconds. So I feel like really like training your brain. I'm a big reader, so I do feel like that is something like that like really does make you focus in. I feel like a lot of people who like have kind of gone away from reading the last 4 years, when they get back into reading, like it's hard. Yeah. Like to get your brain to focus to like be doing one thing at a time.
Slow down a little bit. Do
Yes.
you think it's like a slow down when you read, or is it?
I think so. It just takes a different part of your brain.
Sure.
It's like you're not scrolling. Like scrolling is like trying to like go after like, your dopamine hits and all that stuff. And like reading is like the long game. Like being with that. I feel like if you are like new to reading, like easing in with audiobooks, I am not one of those people that says audiobooks don't count. I think that's stupid. It's like,
I
yes,
agree.
they count.
I don't listen to audiobooks. I'm a tactile like guy. I like the physical write down and whatnot. But yeah,
I honestly love a book.
I'm a podcast listener, so I think I would enjoy an audiobook, but I just haven't yet.
I mean, it depends. You got to find a good narrator. There's a lot of variables there, but But yeah, I think training your brain to like consciously be more in it is like good. And just like, yeah, I feel like next year I'm like really hoping to do some like social media detoxing, because I feel like it is something like you literally have to like consciously make an effort to detox away from it. I also think just like training your brain to like, spend more time and stuff, and like consciously also, listened to this Today Explained episode a couple weeks ago that was about like micro dramas. Have you heard about that?
I'm not familiar with the microdrama. I could probably guess, but I'm not
like
familiar.
Basically, like, I mean, Hollywood is struggling, but it's like they're basically doing like they're producing like little tiny shows that are like real length.
Didn't they have like a Tubi or something? Wasn't that what that was? Like the 2-minute TV show?
You're right. Yeah, maybe Tubi was ahead of its time. I guess they're bringing back that model, but it's like these like, you know, stories that are just like feel AI generated. They're like super short. Like they'll give you the first several for free, and then like you have to like literally pay money to like watch the rest. And it's just like a story that's been told a million times before. I'm like, is that really where culture's going? I'm like, oh God, I hope not. It's sad, but like I don't know, just like little things of like also like you don't have to be. I'm like a terrible multitasker, so like if I don't watch a lot of TV anymore. I used to watch a lot more. Like I'm not a person that can like be crafting and watching TV or like be on my phone and watching TV. Like I gotta be locked in.
I'm the same way. Thank you. I'm glad that there are people like that.
Hollywood is like changing it, and they're like trying to make stuff dumbed down so that people can like do multiple things. Like people, come on, we can't do that.
Well, like the picture-in-picture, like sports channels do that all the time. Like, watch 4 games at once. I'm like, who can do that?
Yeah, so like consciously slowing down and be like, no.
Yeah.
Something too that's giving me hope is, are you familiar with Rosalia?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think I saw you post.
I'm like
tickets.
obsessed with
her. You just
her.
got tickets.
I just got tickets to her concert. I feel like she is like just like I don't know, seeking out artists that are like just really cool and like doing their own thing. And she is definitely that. I feel like she's done multiple interviews, like talking. So her new album's like very high concept art.
Okay.
Just came out last month. It's called Lux. And it's like sung in like 13 or more different languages.
Damn.
It's like with the London Symphony Orchestra.
Okay.
So it's like, it is so different. Like I don't even speak Spanish, and I haven't actually looked up a lot of the lyrics, but it's like, don't even get me started on like all the people who are like mad about Bad Bunny doing the Super Bowl. It's like, if you don't know what he's like, there's some like music either can be like, you can appreciate music even if you don't understand the lyrics.
That's
it's
the
like,
point of music.
Have an open mind, people. Oh my God. But anyway, so like,
they're tapping their feet at the same time they're swagging their fingers.
Like you can still get an aura of like what she's doing even if you don't speak the language, but it is something like another layer of like I've been wanting to go in and like actually read out the lyrics of all the songs, but there's like all the symbolism. It's like, you know, she's talking about like I want people to like sit, like slow down, listen to that. Like it is an album. It's like it's
Speaking
supposed to be
to
listened to front to back, and like be, you know, there's like a whole concept behind this piece of art. So like that's also something I've been trying to do more of, is like I am very much like find a song that I like and I will like listen to it until I can't listen to it anymore type of person. So I've been trying to be more conscious about like listening to full albums and like trying to just like, I don't know, just you got to make an effort, I feel like, to like put that part of your brain to work.
So are you a playlist girly then, or an
totally,
album?
Yes,
okay.
Playlist for sure. But I'm trying to be more of an album person, like going forward. And
Well, it's like you said,
making myself do that more.
For
but
sure.
Like I have to make an effort to do it.
It's the intentional slowdown. I just talked about this in another episode, but how I feel like in this age, it only takes, because of social media, maybe a year for an idea or narrative to stick and take hold.
Okay.
But it takes, it will probably take 10 years to undo that narrative, especially if it's like a harmful, untrue one.
Okay.
If we allow it to, but because of like the way that social media operates, the virality of it, like, it just takes one of those things to go viral to then become the narrative, when in reality that might not at all be true.
Yeah.
But but that has now seeded people's minds to think that way. To change somebody's mind from what they have originally thought takes a long time, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm adopted, and there's like a dominant narrative about adoption that it's like all positive and like everybody ends up in really happy situations. And like through my experience, I've learned a lot about how that's not really the case. That is one version of a thing that can happen, but a lot of other things happen to people, and that doesn't get picked up because it doesn't fit that narrative. Yeah. So it has taken And I'm just like, I'm newer to the journey 5 years, but I know people that have been doing this work for 20 years who are still like, we are at square C of the 26-letter alphabet puzzle that we have to solve. And I bring that up because I appreciate what you're talking about in terms of like slowing down, because it requires us to slow down and like listen and learn from each other to be able to dismantle narratives.
Yep.
Do you think that? Do you think my 10-year timeline is too pessimistic? Do you think we can change minds sooner than that?
I go back and forth on this all the time. I feel like, yes, this very much resonates with me. I feel like tied to the AI conversation is also like just something I think about a lot is like radicalization on the internet.
Sure.
Something I care deeply about. I feel like there's people starting to really study it now, but it's like there's a lot of work to still be done. I feel like nuance is like so undervalued in culture anymore. It's like we try to place everybody in these black and white boxes. It's like if you actually go out and talk to people, like everybody's fucking weird. Like everybody has weird ass views. Yeah. It's like we're all just strange people, and like maybe we think this way on one thing, but like it's not everybody is gonna fit in a box. You can't like I don't know.
Everybody's in their own boxes.
Everybody's in
draws
their
their own boundaries,
and they're freaking weirdos. So I feel like approaching it in that way is a start. Also, like nuance is so important. Like critical thinking. I read another great book this year called The Quiet Damage, I believe, by Jezelyn something. I'll have to look that up. But it's all about, basically, it's a nonfiction book. She follows like maybe like 8 or 9 people who all, basically like 8 or 9 people / families who like someone in their family like became a QAnoner and like went down the QAnon rabbit hole. Yeah. And like how it tore families apart, basically. Found it really interesting. I feel like QAnon is like one conspiracy theory, but like it's just the internet, especially post-pandemic. It's like I don't know. I was very optimistic at the beginning, like, oh, maybe this will make us all come together and understand each other more. Like, it did not happen. It made everything so much worse. I like look back at like myself in 2020, and I'm like, wow, I was so optimistic back then.
I mean, we could all use a little optimism.
Right. There's like some people that are there, but as a majority, it feels like that it did not happen in any way. But like, I really don't know, like once someone hits a certain threshold in like radicalization, like how do you bring them back? I don't know. Right. I feel like it's sad, but I do feel like it's like almost impossible at a point. Like, but the one hopeful story that she did have in that book was like, there's this one guy, I can't remember his whole backstory, but like I think he got injured or something at work, and so he was like on like disability for a long time and was just like home and started going down the YouTube rabbit hole or something and got kind of radicalized. And he like didn't believe COVID was real or something. I can't remember, but it was like a whole thing. And like literally the only thing that like finally broke him out of that wall was like he went and like took his car into this guy that's been his like mechanic for years or something, and like went in person to do this. Was talking to the guy like, how's your wife doing? Because she was usually like around the shop and stuff. And the mechanic guy was like I almost lost her. Like she almost died of COVID in the hospital, and like was telling him this story and like got really emotional about it. It was like this pretty like buttoned up like manly dude, and the guy that was like the QAnoner, it was like that was like the thing that hit him, like, okay, like this, I trust this man, this is like this isn't fake. So I'm like, God, that was like so chilling. I was like, I feel like those things don't happen anymore, because I feel like people just like hide behind screens and they go down these rabbit holes and they find all these people that like believe the same things as them, and it's so much easier to just like dismiss anything that doesn't fit your narrative. But like if you're out in the community and you're talking to people, like it's so much harder to like be like, I don't believe you when you're like visibly with someone and they're like showing this emotion and you're like, oh my God, like that will have you question your belief system, I guess, I don't know. 100%. So that's like the only thing I feel like we can do is like have real conversations in person with people that don't think the same way as us. But I feel like it also like that takes a lot of effort, and like you need to be like set some ground rules, and like it could get pretty out of hand. Like people are just nasty anymore. So it's like, how do you do that in ways that feel like safe and not like over the top? So I don't know.
How do you do that?
I don't know. Conversations, I guess, like this. But like, I don't know, most of the people I feel like that I interact like share similar viewpoints to me. So it's like, how do you
get out of the echo chamber?
Yeah, how do you get out of the echo chamber? How do you be respectful, but also like, I mean, you have to be open-minded. Like if you come into an argument and you're just like spewing your own stuff and you're just like gonna be argumentative and not listen to other people's ideas, then it's like, what are we even doing here? Like I feel like you have to be open-minded about it, or you're not gonna change your mind.
Well, I think getting people to open their minds and even sit down and like just be willing to listen without loading up an answer.
Right.
is
It's just like, listening.
Like, that's the thing. Like, if we just get them, I feel like the threshold is just getting them in the door.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and by in the door, I mean you're in the conversation and you're listening.
Yeah.
Not that you're in the conversation, but you're just going to say whatever you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
But the door is made out of like steel and rebar and a bunch of stuff. Like, it's really, really difficult to get the door open and then to get the person to step through.
Yeah.
And I think the door opener, the key is it's got something negative, terrible has to happen to somebody either directly in your life or adjacent.
Right, yeah.
And it shouldn't take a tragedy.
I know.
It shouldn't take school shooting for us to be like, assault weapons and firearms in this way are bad.
Right.
So we need to
feel
fix
like
that.
as a culture we've like lost empathy
Sure.
widely. So it's like, unless it's like directly impacting you, it's like hard for people to like put themselves in the mindset of like, oh, like just because this isn't directly affecting me, like, you know.
Yeah. Well, like she wrote about that guy, it's just it took his mechanic, and had his car not had any issues, who knows if he would have even went in there and had that experience to have that conversation. Yeah.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
And I do feel like in person is like key for those.
It is.
Like, I do feel like, you know, there's something to be said of like, you know, the world can be open with the internet, but I also do feel like it like, very much fuels the echo chambers, and like, I don't know, it's easy to be dismissive when you can just like, go off in the comments or like spew a whole thing. But it's like being in conversation in a place where like you're going to be open and listening, active listening. I feel like it's like an underutilized skill.
Do you feel like do you see those conversations pop up at Connection Club events? Like, I know it's not necessarily the space for it, but I haven't been, so I don't know. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't say that it's not the space for it, but maybe it is. And you just said so.
I would say not like too much. Like, they're usually pretty lighthearted. Like, we're talking like, you know, crafts and trying to make new friends.
Right.
I do remember though, I did like a small series that I tried out of like kind of Saturday morning like coffee meetup things. And I do remember I like got into more like sort of political adjacent conversation. That was kind of interesting. I don't remember what we were talking about, but like in that context, yes. Yeah. But I have like all these ideas of like a conversation club, or like kind of like bringing up like these bigger topics that are like more nuanced to like get people in a room that's like a curated space, it's safe talking about them. So honestly, you might be a good partner.
Well, people are
like
more,
that.
I think what I've learned through this redistricting situation is that people are actually more interested than they are not.
Yeah.
They just need to be engaged first.
Yeah.
I think like, I don't know if it's a Hoosier thing, it's just maybe a human thing, but like, I think we want people to like come to us. Mm-hmm. And I think when things are being done to us, that's the same way. So I think that's kind of where this, like how this situation unfolded. We got engaged because it was being done to us without our say. Mm-hmm. But I think for a lot of other things, it's like we are interested and we're willing to say, but for whatever reason, we need that invite first.
Yeah.
So I had Senator Hundley on the show, episode 5, and she dropped this statistic. She said in the 2024 election, 101,000 registered voters in Marion County did not vote.
Yes, people need to be talking about this more.
Yeah, and then statewide, 300,000 people. Yeah, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. No, I've been saying this since the election. I'm like, you probably can't change a lot of people who are like so hard set in their views. Like, yes, maybe we could change their mind, but like they're not going to be an easy sell.
Right.
But the people who are like so disengaged and not voting and caring at all, it's like, how do we reach those people?
Yeah,
I totally agree.
And that's where I feel like it's like, okay, if those folks are waiting on the invitation, can we meet them halfway to invite them into this conversation? We're probably not everybody's going to be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to vote for the Democrat or whoever we want them to vote for, but at the very least, they're involved and engaged in the process. And I think that's the whole point, right?
Well, I think we've seen that with like the election of Trump and just everything that's happened in the last decade. It's like people just feel like forgotten, and like if they feel like someone's speaking to them, even if I don't agree with the things that he says, it's like that'll fire people up. It'll be interesting, like how that. I don't know. It seems like he's starting to lose people now, but 100%. Who knows? I don't know. Like what will break some people? Like I said, I feel like some people, once you go off the deep end enough, it's like I don't know how you come back. But like, I do feel like I think once more and more people realize like we have more in common than we don't have in common. Like, it seems like very idealistic, whatever. But it's like, I think it's true.
I like it.
Everybody's
I'm an
struggling
optimist,
economically.
so,
like, we're all fed up with the algorithms. Like, we're fed up with these like billionaires trying to like control our lives. It's like, okay, let's come together. I do think it's going to take some kind of economic way of getting people to be like, okay, like, yes, I disagree with like how you feel about some of these social issues. Maybe at the same time, I do feel like you can't like agree to disagree on like if people don't feel like trans people should have like you know, the right to exist. Like, there's definitely stuff that's like deal breakers, but I do feel like getting people in a room to talk about like economics is like gonna be how you're gonna get a lot of people to start. And then like, you know, once they meet more people that are different from them, hopefully the empathy will start to.
Hey, if we could do a countrywide boycott of every business on Black Friday shopping, I think that people will be listening.
Yeah, true.
But people will be upset. Kind of full circle, bringing it back to where we started this conversation, like, people want to be seen. And I think we live in a time now where there is a resistance to being vulnerable. Like, there's like, people are like, be manly, like, don't talk about your feelings. However, I do think that there is a larger contingent of people who are like, I want to be vulnerable. I want to share. I got these things that I feel like I need to get off my chest. But I've never been encouraged to do so. I've never had the space to do it. And I think that people are seeing, oh, okay, it's okay to share these things. And that is allowing them to feel like, oh, this person sees me. Or instead of just checking the R box, it's like, oh, maybe it does matter what I say. Because I watched them in the Senate hearing talk about how they listened to to me, without naming names. It's like, they were paying attention because this is what I said. So yeah, like, I think people just want to feel like the people that we are choosing to represent us are actually seeing and hearing us when we're saying something.
Right.
What's something small that made you smile this week?
Ooh. Probably taking it back to yesterday's. So I had an event last night, and this mom had reached out to me. Like, I usually do mostly events for adults. And she had reached out and saw, like, I think I had something on there, like 18 plus or something. And she was like, oh, I think my daughter and like my friend and her daughter would like love to attend this. Like, is that like a hard, no or something? And I like was like, oh, like, I think this would be a great event for kids. So I like changed it. And I was like, oh my God, you guys should totally come or whatever.
Sure.
And they came, and just like the girls had so much fun. It was just, like, really cute. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know, too. Like, I've had a couple events where kids are there, and like they're just like so creative as a kid. Like, I just feel like we get older and we just like get in our heads about stuff. And like,
we got bills, and we got like the adult shit.
Yes.
Like, it's terrible.
And I just like, like, people come to my event. That's something else I've been thinking about a lot lately, of like, just like, even getting started is like so overwhelming for people, like the perfectionism that creeps in. Like, I have all these people that come in. It's like a very chill craft event, and they're like pissed off because their thing doesn't look exactly right how they want it, and they're like mad and like, oh, it looks so ugly and stuff. I'm like, you guys, like, it's supposed to be fun. Like, we're here to like meet new people and like chat and like make a fun little craft. Like, it doesn't need to be so intense. So then just see the kids come and just like, they don't fucking care. They're just like, I'm creative. No one's like, they're not in their heads. Yet. And I feel like, we could all learn from them more. So I feel like that was something that like made me smile yesterday, because I was just like, I don't know, they just came up with all these creative ideas I never would have thought of, and I was like, that's so cute.
I love that. Okay, let me ask you. It's kind of like a similar question to earlier, but is there a thing that an event, thing, activity that you found that your adult clientele are like, I can tap into my inner kid in this way?
Yeah. That I've hosted myself already?
Yeah. Or I guess and if not, something that you can think of that you've hosted, maybe something that you've experienced yourself. That you're like, ooh, I'll do this, or we should all do this.
I mean, honestly, when I started, that was like, I was kind of thinking about like different kind of event categories and like how I wanted to like, not necessarily publicly categorize them, but like in my head, and like a whole subgenre was like inner child workshops. I haven't like quite gotten there yet, but that's like something that I've thought a lot about. I feel like I'm trying to think if I've hosted anything that I would really equate with that. I guess something that's kind of similar is I've done a couple of Shrinky Dink workshops. If
I don't
you're
know what
familiar,
that is.
so when I was a lot of adults my age don't know what they are, which is like shocking to me because I feel like it was like such a part of my
So
childhood.
Shrinky Dink sounds familiar to me.
Yeah.
I know I've heard it.
So it's basically like shrink plastic that you just like color on, and then you put it. So it'll start, like you could start with like a 2-inch
Yeah.
size square. You draw your thing on it, and then you put it in the oven, and it shrinks down to like 20% of the size.
Okay.
You can make them into charms. You can make them into keychains, magnets, earrings, whatever.
Yeah.
And so it was like very much part of my childhood. I like did an art class and stuff as a kid, but like
Sure.
some people didn't do that. So I guess it's not a universal experience.
We had an art. I've had Indiana. You grew
Yeah,
up in
Indianapolis.
Indy? Okay. I grew up in rural up north, but we had art class.
Okay.
I don't know that I
We
paid
had art
attention very much, but we had art class. So I think everybody had
I
like
was
an
like
art class.
an artsy kid, so I remember a lot. But so that was something either like people had never done as a kid, or like it was something they did as a kid it
Sure.
hadn't done in a while. So I feel like I got a lot of reactions at those workshops of like, this is so fun. Like I haven't done this in a long time. Same with
Yeah.
like little polymer clay magnets. Like I feel like
Okay.
anything miniature is really fun.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel like over the last few years I've taken a couple intuitive painting classes at the Art
Interesting.
Center. So it's like basically, I've always been like, I don't know, I always call myself like a recovering perfectionist. I feel like
Sure.
I was like mostly leaving that behind at my last jobs because it was just like there's so much to do and
Yeah.
like, I can't control everything. Now that I'm like working for myself and like everything is like a reflection of me, it's like very much creeping in. I'm like, okay, this is terrible. I need to stop. But all that to be said, I've like when it came to painting and stuff growing up, I was always very meticulous, like very much like trying to be realistic, like realism, that kind of stuff. Like I remember I took an independent study in high school and I took like 3 months to finish one piece that probably could have taken like a week, but like I had no one telling me like
Sure.
you need to finish. So I was like, I'll just keep working on it forever. Anyways, all that to be said for the context of like, I never was like super into like abstract painting, never really tried it. But then, I became curious about these intuitive painting classes where it's basically acrylic paint, so it like dries pretty quickly, and it's all about like color and layering and like mark making and stuff. And I had a great teacher that like started every class with like a mantra to like kind of get you in the mood, and then it was just like all about like play, and it was
Nice.
like very not stressful, very much like I don't know. I never came in with like an idea of what I was going to do that
Sure.
day. It was just like you sit down, you mix some colors that you're feeling, you layer it. If you hate the layer, you can literally paint over the entire thing and start
Yeah.
again. So that's something I've been mulling over of the next year of like something tied to that, because I do feel like tapping into like that side of your brain is really important and like also very therapeutic to be like, okay,
For
like,
sure.
I'm not, like these people that come and they're like, I hate my piece, or like,
Yeah.
it's so bad, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you guys, like, that's not the point. I don't know. So
Yeah.
trying to get people out of that mindset and be like, this is supposed to be fun. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be playful. Like, you're tapping into your inner child and like just not judging yourself. You're just supposed to be, tapping
Yeah.
into creativity and connection. And
It
all
would
the
be a
things.
struggle for me. I am I'll say a recovering perfectionist as well. I don't know that I'm recovering very well.
I know
but,
what you'd say. Barely recovering.
Yeah, but like especially the last couple weeks, I have been really trying to focus on working on my reaction to stuff.
Okay, cool.
Especially like in frustration or anger or things like that. And I feel like those are the types of things that would always trigger it for me
Interesting.
the most, was like a fun activity.
It's supposed to be
There's
fun.
no stakes.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
nobody cares. And yet I'm over here fuming that I'm like, I can't get this line correct or
Right.
something.
I don't think, you're not alone. There's so many
sure.
of us. It's
Yeah.
like, and we're all just so busy and like inundated with like so much stuff. It's like, I don't know, you're like, I actually made it to this thing. I'm going to do it. Like, I
Yeah.
want it to be perfect. It's also like, if we go to a new restaurant, we're going to like look at all the reviews and
Right,
like
right,
make
right.
sure it's like worth our
Yep.
time to do this thing. So I feel like it is hard to like set aside that time of like, this could go anyway.
Yeah.
Like, what is success in this moment? Like trying to like, just turn off that part of your brain is
Well,
really hard.
Just trying to be present in the moment
Being
with
present,
it.
yeah.
Like I feel like, especially with being a parent now, I feel like I've been there have been moments where I feel like I'm remembering the moment that I'm in. So I'm like thinking back on it from the future somehow.
Interesting. Okay.
Like I feel like I'm living in a memory, and I'm like, I'm working through therapy, like trying to figure out exactly what that is, but
That's
like
interesting.
I've been like, instead of feeling I'm feeling nostalgic for the present, which is really strange.
Yeah.
It's been like a really strange thing to like navigate in my body.
Yeah.
And so I feel like part of my slowing down has been not to get so far ahead of where I am. It's really hard. Especially as I watch time move every day.
Well, that's like
with
our
my
most
child.
precious resource.
Yeah,
attention
for
and
sure.
time and how we spend it.
Yeah. And so it's just like, can I figure out ways that work for me to be present, knowing that those are the things that work for me and not necessarily for everybody? And can I extend the grace to the people like in moments where I might be regulating well, but somebody else might not be, and help either at least be empathic to that, compassionate to it or towards it, or supportive if necessary. I really appreciate you coming through.
Oh, thank you. This has been so fun.
Yeah. One thing I just wanted to tell you, there's no question, but when you sent me the stuff, your notes, I had recently just removed an AI tool from Gmail.
Okay.
Which
sorts
how do you
stuff.
Do that? So it's like in one of the settings, but essentially what I didn't realize that it did, one of like the smart inbox, there's like unread and read, then it does promotions, then it does updates, and there's one other category.
Okay.
And I didn't realize when I turned that off that it would put everything in one inbox.
Oh,
so I've been signing up for newsletters.
Oh my gosh,
for
I chronically subscribe to so many.
Yeah. So I feel like I've always done a good job of keeping my inbox pretty clean. Didn't realize that feature was helping me so much.
Yeah.
I now have 60,000 emails.
Oh my god.
I have to get through.
Oh.
Yeah, I had a question about like the helpfulness of a tool like that for the work that you do. But we talked about it. I just wanted to share with you that I had 60,000 emails that I need to work
that's
through.
horrible. I can like barely keep up with my email as it is, so I can't even imagine. Well, I think that's the thing about AI, that's like it just is a nuanced conversation, because it's like I don't know. Earlier this year, I was frustrated when there was like all these like super hardliners of like no AI at all. It's like I do think we're past that point. It's like integrated in everything. Every tool that you use on the internet anymore has some kind of AI in it. That being said, I feel like they are trying to steamroll it on us constantly. It's like nobody asked for the little thing at the top of the Gmail that's like summarizing your like 3-sentence email. It's like I don't freaking want that. So I do think like we can continue to resist. Like I don't think it's going away, but I am being more hopeful this year going into the next year of like people are getting fed up. It's like we don't want all these data centers. We don't want to hiked up electricity bills. Like we don't want these summaries of like a 3-sentence email. It's like I don't need that. Nobody asked for that. So I do feel like there's definitely tools that can help us. It's just like we gotta like hone in on like how we use them, and I don't know, being more aware of like what they are, and what
I can't remember where it was like hosted at, but one of the like when AI was really starting to like kick off, I saw an interview, like a roundtable of educators, and one of the educators said, kind of similar to what you're saying, it's like AI is now here. Like there is no turning off the faucet. Yeah. So can we learn about and better understand what it is, so we can teach our kids, our students, to better understand what it is. So instead of us complaining about ethics on the back end, like can we be proactive and get in front of it, especially with people who are going to use the tool, because again, it's not going away.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Yeah. You talked a little bit about things that are giving you hope, but I was wondering if you could share another one or two. Like, what's giving you hope going into 2026?
Okay, wait. I wrote a little list so I wouldn't forget. Let me find one. I feel like we've talked about a few of them, like the redistricting bill and Rosalia's new album, so I will forgo those. Let's see. Okay, something, I mean, kind of tied to politics again, is like I've been really excited about just everything happening with Mere Indie locally.
Oh, yes.
I just
amazing
feel like,
people.
I mean, it's only been around for a couple years, if that, and it's just like, I don't know, it's really, at least for me, I feel like it's helping me get more invested and interested and excited about local happenings. I feel like after, the election last year, it's like, okay, like you feel like you're just like, what can I do to make an improvement on my world? And I do feel like the only thing you can do is like really focusing on local politics. So like, I just feel like they're doing really important work, and like, I just love the way they're covering stuff, and just excited about that, because I do feel like I don't know, for years it was like you just kept seeing like journalism jobs going away,
Yeah.
funding being taken away from local papers, like, you know.
And they just created a new position,
Yes.
or at least the women's reporter.
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah,
So I'm just like really excited about that. If that's giving me hope of like, okay, people are like wanting to learn more, they're wanting to get invested in their local community. Like, I don't know, that's giving me hope. And I would say kind of a thing related to like my work stuff is like a couple months ago I debuted like a volunteer program for Connection Club.
Okay.
Just like I was doing everything by myself, which like I still mostly do, but like I don't know, I feel like
Isn't it
there was
hard?
people that were like interested in coming to events, but also like maybe are on a tighter budget and like can't pay to come to every event, but like are interested in being more involved / like want to meet people on like a recurring basis. So that's been really fun, just to like I have like about 10 people
Nice.
and getting them to like come. So basically they come and help me at an event with like setup and tear down, and then just get to like enjoy the event basically there, and like give me other volunteers, like help me interact with people, take photos, like, you know, just like help me with stuff. And just like the fact that like anyone wants to show up and help me with that is like so cool.
10's a lot of people.
helpful.
Like that's a good roster of volunteers.
And like for the most part I would say they're like pretty engaged. So I just feel like that is giving me hope of like, okay, I'm like doing something here, people are interested. Like one of them is a friend of mine, but like all the other people I didn't know before Connection Club. So it's like, I mean, they have no stake in the game. Like, I don't know. It's just like really nice to like know they're just not like doing me a favor. It's like they really care and like want to see the thing succeed. So that's been giving me hope too of like, I don't know. There are people like want to see cool stuff in their cities, like wanting to see cool stuff happening and like willing to, you know, go on a limb and try something, not knowing anybody. And like, I don't know, just the fact that they do something for like me is like, I don't know.
Well, you're one of those people doing that same thing and providing them the opportunity to do it. So that's on you. That's all you.
I guess. But yeah, those are, I feel like a couple of things giving me hope going into the new year. And just like, people talking about AI more and just like resisting. Like, I think we're all getting just like to this point where we're like hitting a breaking point of like our attention.
Yeah.
Like people are paying attention more, I think, to like the ways that they're being manipulated, and trying to be more thoughtful and present to those things is giving me a little bit of hope too. So maybe we won't have to do, like we said earlier, like all of the, like it takes a lot to convince people of stuff, but if they slowly come to it on their own, then they're more willing to have open conversations, you know?
It helps when people do the work themselves. It helps a lot.
Preach, yeah. We all have too much to do to like try to convince people of stuff, you know?
Yeah. Anything else that you want to talk about before I let you go? I've had you for a minute, so I appreciate it. But yeah, I feel like we had one extended conversation. I think as I was headed to the bathroom out of the Creative Economy Summit when it was downtown.
God. I was going to say, I was like, yeah, that was a minute ago.
Yeah, that was a minute ago. And I've just had the privilege of following you and your work from afar, hearing awesome things about you and your work from other people. I feel like the 2 times that I've been at an event to either cover it for the pod or do something, you've had a thing there, but you were not there yourself.
Okay.
So it's cool to see people engage with the stuff that you've set up, and also to be like, Sarah has built a thing where she doesn't even need to be there to make an impact on the thing.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I think that's awesome. And if you haven't heard it yet, like, you're an amazing human being, and you're inspiring me to do stuff in the city and keep doing
this
it.
is too much. Thank you.
I really invited you over here to just pay you many compliments.
Well, I really appreciate it.
For sure. Anything else that you want people to know about Connection Club, or anything that you want people to know about before we get out of here?
Yeah, sure. So I just had my like last event of the year yesterday, but I already have some events on the calendar for 2026. So you can definitely learn more on my website at sarahsilcox.com or on Instagram at Connection Club Indie. I'm trying to encourage more and more people to sign up for email, just because, as we said, it's
that's
like
the way.
I just feel like my algorithm, like some people are seeing the stuff and some people just are not. So I feel like to make sure you do see the events that are happening, definitely get on the email list. Super excited. I've got an event. I'm doing like a back to the tea thing, full circle. Doing a Valentine's Day tea party at Whispering Shelf in February. I'm super excited about that. Leaning into the Jane Austen tea party vibes. That'll be really fun. Bringing back my Scrap Social monthly series. That's been really fun. That's been like a recurring thing. Something I haven't announced yet, but really want to do this year is like a art cafe pop-up thing.
Nice.
So finding a couple different venues. I'm in talks with a few to do like either monthly or bi-monthly like pop-ups at different places, and basically like there's a menu of different creative activities that you can do that that you choose from, and then you can do that night. So like
That's
kind
awesome.
of little like kits,
Yeah.
ranging from all kinds of different creative stuff. So hoping to like broaden outside of like just the craft realm, just for like people who are like crafting isn't for me, but like I'm interested in like getting out of my head, doing something not on the screen, like connecting with people.
For sure.
So I'm really excited about that. And then I also, as I mentioned earlier, started recently selling stickers. So trying to get into the wholesale market of that and just like product world. So I feel like that's like next on my list of like trying to create an account to do that. I'm having a little sale at Tomorrow Bookstore tomorrow.
Okay.
So I'm
Shout out
excited
Tomorrow
to see how
Bookstore.
that goes. I just saw the weather's going to be really crappy. So I'm like, probably no one will come, but you know, it'll be good to get out there. I had like a guy repost my thing the other day and I was like, I didn't know this man. I was like, thank you for posting like about the sale. And he's like, I'm such a fan. I was like, what? I was like, I've never met you. Like, that is so nice. So I don't know. Anytime anyone pays me a compliment, it means a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Email list, the way to go. Let's get off our social medias. I'm actually signed up to a newsletter that is snail mail.
Oh my God, yes. I've thought about doing that too. As you can see, I've got a million ideas, but I do feel like that's making a resurgence. That's giving me hope too of like people want the tangible analog stuff again.
100%. I'm excited for what you got cooking in 2026, and hopefully we can have more of these conversations.
Yes, I'm so game.
But I appreciate you, Sarah Silcox, part of the show.
Thank you, Patrick.
Cool. Shout out to Sarah Silcox. Really cool human being. And somebody I'd like to be friends with. And funnily enough, when I was out and about in the snowstorm the other day after we had our conversation, I actually ran into Sarah at Tomorrow Bookstore. She was popping up with her products that we talked about. She had some of her stickers. She had a couple of other things that I am blanking on right now. I'm sorry, Sarah. She had a couple things with her. I got a couple stickers to send to our friends who are about to have a baby. And I actually am thinking that I forgot to put them in the box. So I might have 2 stickers for myself, but they are super cool, super cute stickers. And I think like one of the things that I've walked away from my conversation with Sarah is just the interconnectedness of everything. I think like one of the reasons I started the show was to be the all-encompassing place for me to have broader, wider encompassing conversations. And I think and because I felt like Conversation Piece and the John Chi Show were very specific. Identity, Indianapolis. Or flipped. Anyways. And again, like I describe it like there is crossover, obviously, between, because I am those things or of those things. But I felt like there was a limit, or I am limited to a certain extent about what I might be covering on either of those respective shows. And to be clear, I do not consider that to be a negative thing. I actually think it's a really good thing. I think I love to have platforms of specificity to tackle specific things. And again, I really cannot stress enough how much I will cross over between. I can't help it. And that's why this show exists, is because I can't really help it. I just have some yearning desire to host these conversations, and I guess to be 100% vulnerable, there is some level of like needing to be heard. And especially after just listening to this conversation, I do feel like I've come to terms with this vanity metric idea of like, I gotta have followers, I gotta have this number of views or engagements or listens, and because it will mean something. And to a certain extent, it will mean something. On YouTube, for instance, you can't monetize until you reach certain metrics over a calendar year. And so, like, that impacts you. And at the same time, I feel like I'm okay in the knowing that there's stuff that I want to talk about that I want to then share with the world. And sometimes I'm going to sit down across from somebody and have that conversation, and I want to share that with the world. And it doesn't matter to me how many people hear it. It matters to me who hears it. And as long as the right people, as long as it's finding the people that need to hear it at whenever they need to hear it, then I'm okay with how this all plays out. And I did not come into this little section thinking I was going to talk about this, but that's what it has made me think about. And I think that because Sarah is out here doing it and making things happen, and at the same time, we're talking about, like, the encroachment of systems that remove not the barrier, but the friction of life. And a thing that we didn't really talk about, but I'm thinking about now, is that barriers can definitely create friction. And when we remove those barriers, that friction is removed, and that's a positive thing. I'm thinking about, like, systemic racism. Get rid of systemic racism. Get rid of racism in general. I think the friction in life that causes is great to have dissipated. I would be happy with that. It's not that all friction is bad. It's that we are handing over or having the reins forcibly removed from our own hands when it comes to steering our lives. And some of it is, like, really overt, like what the Trump administration is doing in all aspects. And some of it is really obscured, like what's happening with social media. And so, yeah, I don't know. I want to continue having conversations like this, like the one I just had with Sarah, and I want to keep sharing that. And again, and the thing that I am most excited about while doing this, and the reason that I'm really enjoying doing the daily show, is that it just keeps me that much more plugged in. And I think that's the thing that I need to be plugged in. I don't know. Maybe it's a vice. Maybe it's something I need to work through in therapy, but I'm just saying. It's got me more plugged in. It's got me more engaged. And I think anything that can do that or that will prompt that for a person, that's a positive. Now, does it become a detriment to my life and maybe I need to rethink the way that I'm approaching it? Possibly. We'll see. It is not that, though, yet. And I currently don't foresee it becoming so. But you never know. Life happens. But yeah. So, shout out to Sarah Silcox. Go follow her at Connection Club Indie. Check out all the cool stuff that she's got going on. Go to one of her events. Participate. Build community off of the apps, even though you might be finding her or your way to a Connection Club event on the apps. That's the point. We get together in person, and then we can delete everything on our phone. Oh, okay. Well, shout out to everybody that's been tuning in to the morning show. I really appreciate it. It has, again, been something that I've really enjoyed. It's got me more tapped in, more engaged, and I've got a lot of ideas about how I want to keep covering stuff that's happening here in Indianapolis, that is going on in Indiana politics, that's happening with my identity or whatever that might be impacting me on that day. I've got a lot of ideas, and I'm excited to keep just being in this way and hopefully sharing some information that somebody needs to hear. So keep following us on Substack. Check us out on Apple Podcasts. You can check us out on YouTube as well. a like goes a really long way. Subscribe or a follow. If you hit the subscribe button, if you hit the follow, that goes a long way too. Turn on the notifications so you know when new episodes drop, even though they keep dropping every day. It all helps. It all helps make it happen. I don't know. I just said that I didn't care about that anymore. I just made that plea, but it's just like that's just how you wrap up podcasts, I guess. That's just how you wrap up podcasts. I don't know. Check out Sarah Silcox stuff. Until tomorrow.